Maya Angelou said how important it is for us to recognize and celebrate our heroes and sheroes. And that is something we do here on The Wow every show, but this month especially as we move in to celebrate Women's History Month. I'm Jade Kenny, and joining me is just Stephanie DeJokian today as the lovely Janine Samuels has stepped away to deal with a personal matter. We are sure going to miss her, but don't worry, she'll be back soon, just in time for our one-year show. This is The Wow, brought to you by Fresh Fine Wine, and it's going to be another great one.
Yes, it is. I'm excited to have with us my fellow female rock star employees and WIN board members, Mika and Meghan. Mika Lomax is a ticket operations manager here at Washington Football Team. Meghan Klein is in her second season as a partnership marketing manager as well. Welcome to the Wow Show, ladies.
Hi, thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
I'm so excited to get to know a little bit about both of you because Stephanie has the upper hand here where she gets to work with you. So I'm ready to dive all in and get to learn more about you. So let's just start from the beginning. Meghan, I'll start with you. Tell me a little bit about your journey to Washington Football and then what do you do here?
Yeah, absolutely. So as Stephanie mentioned, I'm a partnership marketing manager here at the team. So I work in corporate partnerships dealing with kind of anyone who has a contract with the team that's a corporation or business outside of the team. So I work with some of our bigger partners like Geico, Bank of America, Nova, and just managing the day-to-day contact with them, and anything from something as small as a radio spot to an event, a player appearance, tickets, hospitality. It can really range. That's part of what I love about it, is that it's never the same day twice. And I really get to work with a lot of different departments because these contracts are so extensive and have so many assets that they kind of bleed into other departments, whether it's digital, social, content. So it's great. I don't work in a silo at all. I have to depend on every other department to help me do my job. So that's definitely something that I really love about it.
That's awesome. And Mika, what about you?
I work in ticket operations. I started out 14 years ago as a game day staff employee. And then maybe about four and a half years ago, I started full-time in ticket operations. I basically help build the manifest for all the events held here at FedEx Field. So all of our special events, all of our ticketed events for our games, our concerts, our charity events, everything here that we do, I help build the manifest. I also manage our interns here for ticket operations, and I also manage our game day staff.
Just a couple things.
Yeah, she does a lot. They both do. I would say we all wear a million hats here. But so with that said, a lot of our listeners are always curious about the sports industry and how you got into it. So Meghan, I guess, could you talk a little bit about your journey to this position like Mika did? And then Mika, I want you to talk about your journey as being a mom as well and doing this. So Meghan, if you want to talk about your journey here for our listeners, that'd be great.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think, if anyone knows sports or knows working in sports, no one path is the same, which is, it can be stressful if you're looking to get into sports, you're looking for a map. It's definitely not med school. There is not a clear design of the ways that you're supposed to go or what you're supposed to do. But I can definitely share my story. So I was recruited for rowing to SMU in Dallas, Texas, and had rowed since I was growing up in Boston. And so was involved in athletics in that way, and also was a sports management major as well as a broadcast journalism major at SMU. So those two things really worked well together. One was more presentation based and one was a little bit more public speaking. So I always knew I wanted to work in sports. It was really just determining how. And I think that's where a lot of people can get lost, is there's a lot of ways to work in sports, and you may not like all of them, and that's okay. So I think I used college as an opportunity for me to intern at a lot of different places to really see what it is I did want to do. I first interned at the Dallas Stars. So I was in corporate partnerships there, loved it. But I really did think I wanted to produce sports entertainment. So I worked at Fox Sports Southwest in production. So helping all the producers there, producing some of their Stars, Mavs, Pelicans, all those shows. And at the end of my internship, I was like, you know what? I don't really want to do that. And I think that's okay. I think that's the purpose of an internship, is deciding what you do and what you don't want to do. And I was lucky it was an internship. Those things are meant to educate you and have a finite end date. So when I did graduate college, I accepted a position at the marketing arm. And that was an agency based in Dallas, and I was working on the client AT&T. And so basically all their sports sponsorships are agency managed. So that's anything from F1 to the Cowboys, the Falcons, a wide range of things. So I was on the Cowboys account working their relationship with AT&T Stadium, the Cowboys, and Dak Prescott. So worked there for a few years and loved the agency side. It was really nice to work at a really large company. My team was quite small, but our company was massive. And so I had friends who worked on Frito-Lay and other people that work on like Ruffles and Mars bars. So it was great. It was a great experience to kind of have that to tap into, to learn, not just segmented in your one client. So that really made me want to go back to the team side like I'd been at the Stars, be a little bit more involved in the actual contract process, building the marketing campaign for those clients, as well as managing multiple clients. So that's something that I get to do now. I have a wide portfolio of clients that I get to work with, really mix it up. So yeah, that's kind of how I came here.
Hey, Mika. So you kind of talked about your journey starting with, working part-time. But how has it been, like Meghan said, she did internships, everyone's path is different. And then when we talked to her story was different as well. So how is yours unique?
Well, my story is unique because I don't have a degree in sports. I was not interested in sports at all. And so I went to college for rehab services. And then I decided to go into kinesiology, which is sports-based. And I thought I was going to be a physical therapist because I always wanted to help people. But then I realized after having a job in physical therapy, I thought that was boring and I didn't want to do that. And so while I was in school, I saw on a listserv that they had this position open here for game day. And I said, oh, I'll try that out. And so when I came here, I said, oh, I kind of like sports. Sports is fun. And so I started to do that. But I still had a passion to help people, but I knew it wasn't in physical therapy. So I realized that my passion was in psychology. So I finished my degree in psychology, ended up getting a second degree in criminal justice, and realized that's kind of my path. But while I was here, I was talking to interns and realized that I really want to help people. And I think I can help people here in the sports industry to kind of let them know that you don't have to have a straight path to sports. You don't have to have a straight path to anything. I started off in sports related, and then I moved over to psychology and criminal justice. And then while being here, I realized that I can actually do that, have that degree in psychology and criminal justice in the sports industry. So that's just kind of how I navigated here.
I love that. Both your stories are different, but they are also, they kind of show both sides to that there isn't a straight narrowed path. You might think you're going to end up on TV, and here you are in the marketing partnership side, or you don't have to grow up wanting to do this. So I just love that they complement each other, even though they're not the exact same. So we talk about win a lot here on the Wow. We just assume our listeners understand what it is. So I am so excited to have both of you on here because it's a great opportunity to kind of break it down and just really dive into this amazing initiative that Washington Football has started this year. So we're just going to get real win 101. Let's start with the basics. What is win? How did it come about? And what are the goals this year with it? Whoever wants to start.
Yeah, I can kick it off. So just from my perspective, so I'd been a part of a women's group at my previous company at the agency, and it was such an enriching experience for me. I really loved it. It was a way to connect with people who I didn't work with on a day-to-day basis, as well as really talk about issues that only women sometimes can understand, both in the workforce and outside of the workforce. And so I was involved in that. It was actually started by one of my mentors and role models there. And so it was something I'd always really loved and had wanted to have here. And then in January, I remember at Coach Rivera's introductory press conference, all of our staff was invited to attend, and we were watching. And I just remember being in this room and seeing, there's not a lot of times where FedEx Field and the park staff all get together in one room. And so I remember looking around being like, wow, like look at all these women, and like we're all kind of all over the place, like in our careers and just physically in this room spread out. And I was like, I really want a chance for everyone to kind of get together. I think in sponsorships, because we have to work with a lot of other departments, we do get to meet a lot of people, but I don't think that every department has that luxury. And so then a month passes. I was kind of like, oh, that'd be great to have, but like not yet thinking like this is something I'm going to start. And then it came to February and we hired Coach King. And I was like, wow, like I really want to welcome her and make her feel like she's a part of something and that there's women that she can meet that, you know, obviously coaching is still very male dominated. There's not a lot of gals down there that are helping out. So I really wanted her to meet people in the company. Obviously then COVID hit and everything kind of took a backseat. It was really just readjusting to what remote work is like. And it wasn't until the summer when we kind of realized that this was probably going to be a more long-term thing where we're working virtually, that I was like, there's no time but the present. We really needed a connection point. The women wanted to have a support system and somewhere to come together and talk and vent and celebrate each other. And we just didn't have that. And it really wasn't worth waiting until we were back in person. I mean, here we are almost a year later. And so we still wouldn't have had WIN had we waited. And so it was something I came to our leadership that I was really passionate about starting, and then quickly connected me with a lot of women who had similar feelings. And we formed this leadership board and really kind of kicked it off and opened it up to the women. I think end of July, maybe beginning of August was our first official meeting. But yeah, that's kind of my story of how I got involved in it and how it's grown from there.
Yeah, I think people don't realize, because I didn't until I started being a part of watching football, that there are like two different worlds. There's the world at FedEx and there's the world in Ashburn. And I think it's incredible to create kind of this, not sorority, but this common group where you can bring those two parties together. So I think that's something as a fan, they probably don't understand that it's a huge company that's usually separated. And Mika, let's dive in. What is your role in WIN? I love your jacket. It's very on brand for today's show. And then also, what are your goals? And like Meghan said, COVID has impacted all of us in a lot of different ways, and learning how to really adjust and pivot during this time is important in our personal lives. I'm sure it's important in your day-to-day operations of your current jobs with the football season as it was and as it might be this fall. And then also WIN. How did you guys kind of adapt and adjust and get this going?
So as Stephanie mentioned earlier, I am a mom. I have a 7-year-old son, and he is a handful. So when Stephanie approached me about being on leadership with WIN, I didn't think I would have the time or the energy to put into being part of anything else other than my full-time job, and then my other full-time job, which is being a parent. So when I came on board, I realized that the women of the leadership were similar minded. So it was helpful. They were more of a support system than anything. So when I go through things at home with my kid, or I'm dealing with things at work, I have a support system where I don't feel like I'm by myself. So having WIN, I'm emotional about this, but having WIN has been a support system. And I like how we work together with everyone. And so everyone, like Meghan said, we are from different parts. We have the park, we have FedEx Field, and we don't know each other. We don't see each other. We don't talk to each other unless it's a game day or an event day, or we need something. And this is something that bridges the gap for that. As Meghan said, I'm also on leadership for the committee of Bridging the Gap. And so Bridging the Gap is to fill in the gap between our part-time staff and our full-time staff and our other employee resource groups like Ben.
So yeah, I mean, as Mika gets emotional, it's so true. This came at a time, I think, when we were all separated, as Meghan was saying. We needed to talk to each other. Things were difficult. We were going through a lot together as a company, as women. And it really helped us. I know the leadership board has added an extra layer for us to really have a sisterhood. And then it's just grown out with tentacles with all of the women that I've never met before, which it's sad to say, you know, and we really need the support system for all of us to be there for each other, to lift each other up, to promote and help each other. You know, you should go for that job here. I think you should, you know, you'd be great for it, and just encouraging one another. So with that said, for you guys, either I'd love for you to share a story of something positive that's happened with WIN, or maybe your hopes and aspirations for WIN. So we'll go, Mika, you go first.
One thing, it's not work related, it's more of a personal thing. But I had a family member who was in a devastating accident, and I didn't know how I was going to make it. We were literally having a WIN meeting, and I broke down in that meeting because it was a safe space for me. But the love and the support that we had from each other lifted me up and kind of supported me throughout that journey. So for me, having WIN has been a sisterhood, has been an extended family, has been, you know, my rock when I wasn't sure I was going to make it. And every day is a struggle for me, just because I do have my 7-year-old. We are in the same space 365 days, 7 days a week. It's hard. And I'm trying to homeschool. I'm trying to have my full-time job. I'm trying to stay sane. I'm trying to have my own life. And so that becomes a struggle. But with WIN, it has been a just mad support. I can't express that enough. I think Meghan and Stephanie both know I love them, and it's just been great to have them. And so for me, WIN has just been amazing in that aspect. And I can see that with my fellow coworkers, how we lean on each other, we call each other, and we vent and we cry and we just talk and we chat and we bounce ideas off each other. And that's just been a blessing.
Yeah, I would echo everything that Mika's saying. I think it truly is a support network, but it's a community network. These are the women that we work with that really can only understand because they're in the trenches with us, and they understand how crazy the season can be and how hard it is to balance, you know, life when you're working remote. And it's really easy to get back online when someone sends you an email at 10 o'clock on a Friday night rather than, you know, just going to bed or something. So that's been great. I think, you know, getting to meet more people, having us be able to come together. I think one of the most rewarding things for me is, you know, honestly, when the men come to us and they want to know what WIN is and they understand it's important and they want to help, but they just don't know how. And so I think, you know, obviously the women understand it and they love it, and we've been able to connect them that way. But, you know, we've had 2 occasions, one when we presented to the company about what WIN is, and then also a second one when we brought in Nicole Lynn to speak. We kind of brought her in with Ben and WIN, which is also awesome to work with a fellow employee resource group together. But it was just, those were 2 occasions in which I really felt like the men understood not only why it was important, but where they can help and where they can be allies in our workforce and just in general life with their daughters and with other people if they go on to a different company. And so that really felt like we were making an impact. And just having them participate in the first place was a huge win for us, not to be cheesy, but yeah, it was. And we're really happy to have them involved because it really does take everyone. You know, we can have all the women that are, you know, full-time employees here involved in WIN, but if we don't have the support of leadership or of the other men, it can be really challenging. And so knowing that they were on board to help us and really make this the best workplace and best environment that it can be, it's really heartening.
I'm just so happy as a fan of Washington football to see all the changes it's made this season. And thank you so much for all of your efforts in leading those charges. I know it's just the beginning of true impactful change. But before we let you guys go, I want to know a little bit more about each of you personally. We'll start with you, Meghan. If you could tell your younger self anything, what would it be?
Oh, that's a tough one.
Always a hard one.
It is. I think not to worry so much, which is so hard because it's like, I still do it. I don't take my own advice. I worry all the time. I try and make everything perfect. I'm always, you know, have anxiety about did I do it right? Is there something more I could have put into it? Could I put more time into it? And I think, you know, I just think there's a difference between being prepared and then this needless anxiety. And so I hate to be like everything works out, but it kind of does. Like when I think back on my first job that I got, I accepted it in my cap and gown walking into my graduation. So for every day, minute, month before that, I was stressed and I was upset and I was like, what's going to happen? Am I going to get a job? What's it going to look like? And not that that would have, changed anything, but I would have been happier. I would have enjoyed my time. And so I would say, don't wish your life away. Enjoy the phase of life that you're in at that current moment and don't stress so much. I think stress can really devalue a really great situation that you're in and make you not enjoy it. But, everything will work out if you're prepared. And anxiety really is not going to help that at all.
Yeah. Isn't that what Coach Rivera says? Be where your feet are, stand, something like that.
Yeah.
Don't laugh, Jade. I know I'm messing it up.
I'm like, I don't know that one. I'm like, I need to call a coach. I need that one. I need to tell me that one. I need help with that. I have the same problem, Megan. So I totally understand. I'm like nodding my head. I lay in bed with just like anxiety over nothing because everything usually works out. Well, Mika, what about you? What would you tell your younger self?
I would tell my younger self I would tell myself a lot of things. One, it's going to be okay. Whatever you're doing, if it doesn't turn out right, it's going to be okay. I would tell myself to continue to be you. You don't have to change who you are to fit in. Whatever you want to do, whatever you feel, that's okay. And people will adapt. If they don't like it, they don't have to like it, but be you, be true to yourself. I will also tell myself to take your time. I feel like in today's world, we're always rushing. And I think one thing that COVID has taught us is to slow down and to take your time and enjoy what's right in front of you, because tomorrow may not be. So just take your time, enjoy, be who you are, be true to yourself, and it's okay.
Like, amen. I need to do more of that too.
The psychology major or something there.
Exactly.
And she is like that when she says, I wanted to help people. That's what she does. Every time we have meetings, what can we do to help this person? What can we do? Her and Trish, I swear.
Has your business been affected by COVID-19? Have you considered reducing or moving your office space? Then it's time to call Victory Van. We provide the best service and price with flexible options for your company's moving and storage needs. Visit victoryvan.com to get your free moving and storage quote today. For corporate storage and moving, it's always the right move to choose Victory Van. That's victoryvan.com, Victory Van Corporation, delivering excellence for 75 years and proud partner of the Washington football team.
Finch Services Incorporated, recognized in its industry as a world-class organization, is the exclusive supplier of John Deere golf and sports turf maintenance equipment for the Mid-Atlantic region. In business since 1945, Finch helps golf course and sports turf managers maintain some of the most exclusive playing surfaces in the region. Experience the Finch advantage for yourself. Contact one of our golf and sports turf sales specialists to see how we can help you maintain your field of dreams. Go to finchturf.com for more information.
At RTS, game day strategy doesn't stop when the whistle blows. RTS delivers smarter, more responsible waste and recycling services. As an official partner of the Washington football team, RTS is connecting the team and FedEx Field with sustainable solutions to care for the community and the environment. RTS, a better waste company. Find out more at rts.com. A new decade demands a new kind of wine. As consumers continue to embrace healthier lifestyles with beverages that taste great and keep in line with their dietary preferences, and wine is no exception. Fresh Vine Wine thoughtfully crafts great tasting premium wines that are low calorie, low carb, low sugar, keto, vegan friendly, and gluten free. Fresh Vine Wines pairs perfectly with your active lifestyle without sacrificing on taste. Available in select stores in DC and Maryland.
You can hear every Washington football team game on the Team 980 and streaming on the radio.com app. Listen to Team 980 every day for expert analysis, Washington football guests, and your calls along with hosts Kevin Sheehan, Washington football legend Brian Mitchell, Steve Zabin, and more on the official radio of home of the Washington football team. Download the radio.com app and favorite the Team 980 today to listen on your phone or smart speaker. Be confident in a new Honda. Enjoy the open road in a turbocharged sedan like the sophisticated Accord or the tech-savvy tech-savvy Civic with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Take control in an adventure-ready all-wheel drive SUV like the CR-V, HR-V, Pilot, or Passport, with features like Honda Sensing, Magic Folding Seats, and 3 different driving modes. Now is the best time to buy. Don't miss your chance to get a great deal on your favorite Honda model. See your local Honda dealer today. Well, before we let you go, we're going to keep you guys for our overtime segment, which usually we kind of dive into a little bit more of the interview, and we also dive into events that are happening. And since this is Women's History Month, and I know that WIN and WOW are doing a ton of things this all month long, we wanted to keep both of you on to talk about those events. So whoever wants to talk about this, surprise. I know there was a panel that just kicked off this week.
Yeah. I can start if you guys want to add in, but we actually had the rehearsal last night for it, and I'm super excited. It will be March 3rd. So I'm hoping that people will have already attended it by the time they listen to this. But the women that are involved are fantastic. And we're powering it together, WOW and WIN, to kind of, as we've said, WIN is our internal, employee resource group, but WOW, this is who we're talking to right now, the women that are connected and empowered through Washington football, through our love of the team. And so we want to continue to do more things in the community like this, if you guys want to add to that.
Yeah, I mean, Stephanie's just such an amazing asset to WIN and WOW, but obviously the connection with WOW helps us because she's already in the community. And that's something that, is a goal of WIN. Obviously, our first priority is our full-time female staff members and catering to them and making sure everyone's okay. But, we do want to have an impact to the future generation of women, the women in sports, just the women in our community, however we can help. And so Stephanie has definitely been kind of our external arm, if you will, and really getting us engaged in things that she's already so well connected in. And these amazing panels that she's created. So the Empowered Women panel, which is on the 3rd, which I guess is going to be kind of already happened when we're hearing this. But then the Empowered Women series too, which is so exciting. I believe those are each Monday. So yeah, we're really excited. I mean, it combines a lot of our values, which is health and well-being, as well as education, career development. So those are literally our committees that we have in WIN. And so it aligns so well with what our values are and what we're doing. And so being able to get involved with WOW and kind of touch not only our community, but also our female fan base is amazing.
And Mika, do you want to talk about the closet exchange or anything else for that? Put you on the spot.
I see that, Stephanie. And I'm the shy one, but we do have this closet exchange that we're doing as well, where we're helping our fellow members basically dress for success, dress for the sports industry, for those who want to be in front of the camera. And even if not, you don't want to be in front of the camera, but just in general of just dressing for the part. Because a lot of times we don't know what to do. We think we're in sports. And so people think it's a lot of jeans and sweatshirts and t-shirts and just dressing really comfortably, but they don't realize that you actually have to wear, dresses and slacks and things like that. So we'll be having that as well. I'm not familiar with the date because Stephanie has a lot of things, planned for us.
Yeah, so many things, but I know we're getting together the last weekend in March, and we're, as Mika said, we're going to help fellow employees that need, maybe in need of some clothing. Then we're going to divvy up the rest and take it to 3 different women's shelters in Maryland, Virginia, and DC. So very excited to kind of close out Women's History Month with that initiative. And, we've got lots more to come, lots of speakers, and it's just great. And then, yes, I'm hoping that WIN will interface with our fans during these Monday events as well, and kind of get to know the fans in a different way. I'm sure Mika already knows everybody from her game day experience, but
it's just 14 years, Stephanie, just 14 years.
Right.
A couple fans here and there.
Right. And Meghan knows all the sponsor side of everybody. But
Well,
no, it's a dynamic group. So as you can see.
I have a ton of clothes that I would love to donate. So I'll be looking out for all of the information on those events coming up. Thank you both so much for your time. It has been great to get to know a little bit more about each of you, as well as Win in general. Like I said, we promote it all the time here. We just think everyone understands what it is, but it's been great to be able to let our listeners know the great work that Washington Football is doing. And that's because of people like you. So we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having us on. Really
Thank you.
appreciate the opportunity to talk more about Win, and it's something we love doing. Like we say, it's our passion project. It's not something we get paid for. It is definitely outside of the 40-hour work weeks that we do, but it's something that we all really enjoy doing, and we do it because we love it and we love the people and the women that we work with. So
Usually those are more rewarding, the ones that aren't for. Well, that's going to do it for us. Thank you so much for joining us here on The Wow, where we connect and empower women through sports. Big thanks to our partner, Fresh Fine Wine. Next time, we will be doing our 1-year anniversary show, talking all about our favorite moments over the last year of The Wow. If you have a favorite moment, you have a favorite blooper, I'm sure there's an athlete's name I messed up at some point, go ahead and DM that on social media. Send that over to us. We cannot wait to have Janine back for that show. Until next time, see ya.
Chesapeake Employers Insurance has been helping Maryland businesses keep their workers safe. With competitive pricing and an AM Best A- financial strength rating, it's no surprise that Chesapeake Employers is Maryland's largest writer of workers' comp insurance.
At the end of every workday, someone's waiting for your safe return.
Connect with your agent or visit CEIWC.com.
Reliable power from Novec keeps us connected to so many good things. Life-saving equipment and life-affirming moments depend on reliable, safe electricity that keeps us plugged in and powered up. And as a not-for-profit cooperative owned by the people it serves, Novec keeps rates low and service high. Novec, keeping life bright.
Somewhere in Maryland, Dr. X unleashes his scratch-off masterpiece.
Load the prizes, Cashbot!
Done, Doctor!
Now multiply them!
50 times?
More!
100 times?
Yes, 100 times the cash!
That's $1 million top prize!
Zap, Cashbot, zap!
It's alive!
It's beautiful!
Play all 5 new X multiplier scratch-offs from the Maryland Lottery, like nothing we've created before. Play safely and responsibly.